Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The former unified champion Anthony Joshua is putting his loss to Andy Ruiz Jr. on June 1st in New York down to a lucky punch. He says a lucky punch, a punch that was sent by the gods. So this is in an interview with Sky Sports with Anna Woolhouse, and you can see here on screen, this is from Sky Sports Boxing, its social media feed, 11-second clip which is up there, you can go see it. She effectively says to him, "We surprised how skillful Andy Ruiz Jr." He responds by saying he's not that skilled. Anna Woolhouse comes back and says, "Well, he beat you." Joshua then launches into, with a lucky punch, a punch that was sent by the gods. A lucky punch. So I want to just quickly give my thoughts on this and then on to a few other things, because I think there's more than just, these comments here in terms of on the face of it. I think there is some real mind games at play here, that this is part of the build-up now that Anthony Joshua is really trying to get into Ruiz Jr.'s mind here with some of these comments. And before people want to say that it's just Joshua responding to Ruiz Jr.'s most recent sort of not wanting to go to Saudi Arabia, etc., this interview was recorded well ahead of Andy Ruiz Jr. coming out with those statements. You may recall, Anthony Joshua, a few days before it was announced that it was going to be in Saudi Arabia, etc., he did an interview with Adam Smith live on Sky Sports, and Adam Smith said that Joshua had just had a big sit-down interview with Anna Woolhouse for a program that they were going to be running. So these comments were made about 10 days or so pre-recorded, and it's now just dribbling out now in terms of, it's being broadcast, that sort of thing. Sky is dribbling these comments out. It's also where these Lennox Lewis is a clown comments, that's where these were made also. So this isn't in response to anything Andy Ruiz Jr. has said, but it is some comments I think that are designed to try and get under Ruiz Jr.'s skin. But first I would just want to touch on a lucky punch situation. A lucky punch, a punch that was sent by the gods. Do I believe that shot that Ruiz Jr. landed in the third round against Anthony Joshua after he had been down, Joshua comes in to try finish Ruiz Jr. off. Ruiz lands a left hook to Anthony Joshua around the ear region. Was that a lucky punch? I don't believe so at all. If you go back and watch that fight, Andy Ruiz Jr. was clearly looking for the left hook pretty much from the get-go in that fight. It wasn't just, it was a Hail Mary thrown. Andy Ruiz Jr. had been looking for that left hook, and it was in that exchange with Joshua where he was really able to land it and land it really clean to do enough damage on Joshua. And part of the reason he was able to land it like that was because Joshua had just had Ruiz Jr. down on the canvas. Joshua was coming in for the kill. He thought Ruiz was about to, be laid out on his back and he was going to get a knockout victory. But Ruiz Jr. wasn't nearly as hurt as Joshua has thought he was. And this is something that Joshua has actually freely admitted in the wake of the loss, that Ruiz Jr. wasn't as hurt as he thought, and he said, if he'd known otherwise, he would have been a bit more cautious. So this is a bit of a changing of the tune in terms of the story that Joshua is now telling. Joshua is saying that it's a lucky punch. I don't believe that for a second. It was a punch Andy Ruiz Jr. was looking for, and he was able to get it off in that exchange. He clearly wasn't so hurt enough that, his legs were under him, his eyes were clear, he was able to get off his work and land something that changed the course of the fight. So did one punch change the course of the fight? Absolutely. But was it a lucky punch? No. And part of me thinks that some of this is Joshua actually wanting to try and get inside Andy Ruiz Jr.'s mind, try and get him doubting himself. I think this is, some comments designed to try and get under Andy Ruiz Jr.'s skin. But part of it also could be that Joshua maybe really truly believes this. Boxers will tell themselves all manner of things to G themselves up in terms of their mindset and mentality ahead of a fight. He will want to believe that it was a lucky punch because obviously he probably thinks that he beats Ruiz Jr. 9 times or 99 times out of 100, and that was the off night, the night that he couldn't get it done for whatever reason. But a lucky punch? Not in my book. But I do think this was designed, some of these comments, and I'm sure there will be some other stuff to dribble out that Joshua will be saying in the build-up to try and really get under Ruiz Jr.'s skin, try and get Ruiz Jr. coming into the second fight not as cool, calm and collected as he was for the first. And obviously some of what's going on the reverse side, I think Ruiz Jr. is also engaged in some mind games. I think part of what is going on at the moment with some of what Ruiz Jr. is doing in terms of the stuff around the contract, refusing to go to Saudi Arabia, what effectively is stalling for the moment. He wants to get the fight moved. That's got to be also somewhat destabilizing for Anthony Joshua and the whole Matchroom promotional outfit, because obviously the whole thing is seemingly up in the air at the moment. And wouldn't you want, if you were Andy Ruiz Jr., to have your opponent and his camp and everyone around them a bit off balance? And I think some of that is what is here at play. I mean, sure, Andy Ruiz Jr. will want a whole bunch more money. Sure, he will want the fight on his terms in the United States. Whether that's going to happen or not, it's another story. But for the moment, things are in a sort of a bit of a limbo here with this whole situation with the rematch. And that was Ruiz Jr. after the fight was announced officially by Matchroom, who say they have promotional control of this rematch, and now things are, up in the air. So Ruiz Jr. and Anthony Joshua are employing some of the same sort of tactics, trying to get into each other's minds, trying to get stuff out there to get the other off balance, off kilter, and maybe gain a psychological or mental edge heading into the fight. But yeah, certainly if Andy Ruiz Jr. hears these comments, and I'm sure he will, and I'm sure he's going to make some public sort of comment on it at some point, I'm sure he'll be sort of scoffing at it, and he's probably laughing at Joshua for thinking it was a lucky punch. But what did you make of it all? Do you think it was a lucky punch? Or like me, do you think it was actually a punch Ruiz Jr. was looking for, and he landed because it was a punch he was looking to land other than just a Hail Mary shot? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.